Hello, you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Let me say hello really fast. My guests are here. They actually weren't here when we started. I was just going to talk to you guys. I'm really excited to have Jenn Lu and Crime Curious on today with us. Hey, Ava. Hey, K-Braze. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Grammy Nini. Hey, Lolo. Hey, Batty. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Emily. Mark. Hey, B Crumbs. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Ileana. Hey, Ethel. Ava, Stephanie, thank you guys for being here. Hey, Cool Gamer, Cook Street, Odd Zombie, Susan, Petunia, anybody I missed, thank you guys for being here. So I did create 2 new emojis for us. You guys have the Thanks Letecia emoji, like the Thanks Obama, and then we have the duck emoji for all the times that you thought, what fuck? But, you know, autocorrect always turns it to what the fuck. And because Grammy Nini says that Dorothy Lewis is a quack. So I thought that was kind of funny too. How are you guys? Jen?
Oh, hi, babe. I didn't realize you added me. Hi, babe. How are you? I'm good. I like the duck because Letecia is a fucked up duck.
She is. She definitely is.
So it works on lots of levels.
Hey, guys. I just want to make sure my microphone's working tonight.
Yes. Yeah. You sound great.
Yay. Awesome. Okay. So I don't have to switch to the laptop.
No, you're good.
My God. What do you guys think?
Girl.
Just like first thoughts.
Well, I thought the audio issue at the end was baloney. I'd like to start there.
That's putting it politely. I think that I am in a lot of pain. Today was very painful, and I think I need a doctor, but it will be neither Dr. Stauch nor Dr. Lewis.
My eyes hurt from squinting trying to hear better. You ever notice yourself doing that? Like that's not obviously going to help anything, but for whatever reason, I kept squinting when they would talk like that was going to make me understand that audio better.
Well, I freaking lost my cigarettes. I'm sitting here like really needing a cigarette after dealing with her ass and I can't find them.
Oh, no.
I know. It's all right, though. Hopefully, Bentley's dad is helping me look for him right now. Maybe he'll find them. That's what I'm hoping.
Okay,
yeah, I had to take a break when we lost sound because my dog thought I was mad at him. And I was like, no, baby, no, I'm sorry. I had to put the phone down.
You see, this is why we need to sue Letecia. This is why this class action lawsuit is so necessary because, quite frankly, look at the damage she's caused.
Did you see the link that I sent you about her addition to the lawsuit, the federal lawsuit?
No, I missed that. I haven't clicked it yet. Oh, I need to click it. Okay.
It's real. Yeah, there's 5 pages. It was pretty interesting.
Did she write it herself?
She did.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Well, she's got, Jen, did you ever see the original federal lawsuit?
I probably did like a long time ago. Yeah. And then I blocked it out as I tend to do with all things Letecia because my brain can't take it all.
Right. So there were a couple claims in the original lawsuit and, the main one, I think, was medical negligence. Also, she didn't want to sleep on a top bunk because she had bumped her head and fallen off of it a couple of times. And, that's dangerous. And she's in imminent danger. And so she needs to sue the medical services provider and the jail and specific deputies, and also the food services provider, because her religion requires a kosher diet and they're not complying to her dietary needs, which is an infringement upon her First Amendment rights, specifically freedom of religion. And so she filed that lawsuit. And then recently she added to that lawsuit with continuing infractions on part of, the jail and deputies. And, specifically that, like, when they're transported to the courthouse, they're provided regular lunches and not kosher meals. And that is a violation, don't you know? And she actually got a few other inmates to sign this document. So, now it's going to be a class action. I mean, anyway, so in the beginning of this, she was a soldier for Christ, and she compared herself to the Apostle Paul, and she talks about being raised Baptist, but now she's apparently, Jewish. So,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
what she is litigious.
That's what I was going to say.
totally.
Litigious Letecia.
Yeah.
She absolutely is. So Crime Curious actually told me about this dude. And you know what? I think I know who he is, like watching the videos, because people were, I know where he's sitting. This guy, the Zach DuPont, he's in the courtroom, and he actually tweeted, we did not hear it, but Stauch did Letecia informed the court that she will not be testifying on Friday. Tolini informed the court that the defense will rest on Friday morning. So that was very interesting. I'm glad you found that, because I was so pissed that we couldn't hear the one part I was waiting like all day to hear.
We were all waiting for that part.
Ever since Dr. Lewis started testifying, I've thought over and over, I cannot wait to see what these jury questions are going to be. I mean, they've asked such great questions.
Yeah.
And so Zach DuPont, that same guy, he says that he's going to start a new thread on Twitter, and he's going to try and summarize the jury questions and what I'm assuming were some fairly circular responses from Dr. Lewis. I mean, that's not really a stretch. I'm not reaching.
No,
oh, dear
not
God.
as far as Dr. Letecia did today. I mean, Dr. Letecia. Dr. Lewis did today.
Well, that was Freudian, right?
It really was.
It was.
I couldn't understand shit, but I did find a bunch of people that were people that were tweeting from the courtroom and stuff, and so we'll go through those too, so we can try to make sense of some of it. So I want to start here, you guys, and have you guys comment along the way, because it feels like such a long day. I can't believe we started with, the controversy surrounding DID and the movie Sybil they were talking about. And she gets into her retrospective malingering again, and then her phone rings. I could not believe, and she was late again. I really couldn't.
Right.
Right. So were you guys aware that there's a big conspiracy about how the movie and the book Sybil, that the subject was actually faking?
Yes,
No,
that I was aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. Her real name was Shirley Ann Mason, I think.
Yes.
And she came out right before the book was published and said she was faking. And I guess the author of the book was like, listen, I've worked really hard on this book, and I'm not going to stop now. So she just went ahead and published it, sold the movie rights.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
See, I seen people saying stuff about it in the chat yesterday and today, but I didn't know. I actually want to see it. I've never seen that movie. Here, I'm going to play this clip. So this Bernice Sykes, look how clear Crime Talks video is. Like, you can see so clearly. This is that guy, right? Is that him, Crime Curious?
With the blue undershirt? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Zach.
That's what I thought. Okay, let's see what this one is. I've just grabbed it. Like all day long, I was just putting stuff in here for us to react to and talk about. So I don't remember exactly. Let me see.
It's clear, babe, because that is almost like a sketch filter over it. Because if you look, there are outlines of like the people's outfits that would not occur naturally in natural light. There's a filter over it. That's why it's been cleaned up quite a bit. But I don't care. I'm not complaining. It's been cleaned up quite a bit.
Yeah, it really has. It's
I
nice
appreciate
to see
it.
their faces. Yeah.
Not that one.
Yeah, that's Frank.
I mean, what did she do? Just use Crisco to style her hair today?
Yes. Look at her face that she's making.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this video, I think, was just her, like, the way she's watching the doctor.
Yes.
Look at her.
It's not in any police reports, correct?
As far as it's not police reports.
It would be in a report that the defense gave you?
Oh.
Dude, she was this was a very frustrating day, waiting on her to answer like this. Look at her.
Again, I will be taking notes as I'm going through stuff.
Well, even he's like, oh, shit.
Here I have Letecia notes.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes?
the way we have to do this is you need to read that to yourself and see if that refreshes your memory. And then once you've done that, I can ask you some questions, okay? Because I don't have that as you have in front of you.
No.
I'm really disappointed in the fact of she was just so ill prepared. It's disappointing that they put her up there like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well.
She said no, Annie. She did say no. And she shouldn't have done it either. I'm wondering, why would you have a career this long? And then at the end of it, you do this. You know what I mean? Why? Because I can't.
Why come?
Yeah, why come?
Why come? Why come you testified in this case, Dr. Lewis?
Well, I'll say this. Something occurred to me late in the afternoon today when Dr. Lewis was interviewing Letecia, also testifying. What I realized is the way that she does it is like the way she interviews Letecia is like she's conducting a study. And the way she testifies is like she is defending the study. Right. And that would be great if this were a study, but it's not. And so that's where, in my opinion, among other things, that the problem lies. Because
right, and as a study, it's not about even the subject; it's about the researcher, and that's how she testifies.
Right.
She's defending herself and her study, and then Letecia, and nowhere in that group does Gannon or his family fit in.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
After her phone ring today, she all of a sudden brings up Letecia being younger and wanting to be called Maria. And, prosecution wanted to know where she got that from. And she's like all confused. I don't know. It wasn't from her, though. It was from someone being interviewed. And he was really pressing her. He said, or did you just realize you had nothing to corroborate, your diagnosis in your notes? And that was a really tense moment. And I'm very curious about that. What is she talking about? Where did that come from? She didn't speak to any family members. So what do you guys think about that?
I remember right before that, Dave Young called the shots. I mean, he absolutely predicted it. He was like, Your Honor, I just want to make sure that she's not going to pull anything out that we haven't seen before. And and she did it. She did exactly that. And that's when I started furiously texting Chris Welch. So we were like texting all afternoon. He's so excited about tomorrow.
I'm so excited about tomorrow. I'm so excited, Jen, that I'm going to work around. I don't care how late I have to stream. I will work around y'all's schedule because, and that's basically volunteering Allie because she's my co-pilot on Thursdays. So, hey, buddy.
I'll be there, and we'll go after they're done because I can't wait to hear it either. And
I have so many questions.
I used to have a really hard time streaming late at night because I wasn't used to it. But because of this trial not ending until like 7 and having to stream a little later to do a recap every day, I've gotten used to it and I actually like it because Bentley's, in bed most of the time. I don't know. I like it. So that's good for
you. You got more peace. It's better this way.
Yeah. So but, back to that piece of evidence, I have to call BS because, like I said yesterday, this woman has testified in 100 to 200 trials. She knows how it works. She knows not to talk over to people. She knows not to pull something that Letecia has handwritten out of her bag, like it's one of Leticia's, tissues in her blouse. You can't just pull that stuff out in the courtroom. And she's got to know that. She has to know that. And the way she would finish answering your question after it's been objected to and sustained, and she just keeps going. She's a professional. Yep. She's done this hundreds of times.
Do you think
it had to be on purpose? I don't know.
Okay. I was gonna
Allie, did you by chance get what happened this afternoon before when they came back for lunch? Because we were all there. We don't have to go back over Jenn Lu's big flub, but it did happen. I took a nap. It is not on purpose. It was an accident. It was an unintentional nap. But anyway, I missed it, and I'm dying to know what happened.
So what I was gonna do was pull up because it's. When here in a second, I'll pull up that little 7-minute clip of the interview, and I've got some other clips of it too. But so before you came on, there was the 7-minute before your thing was working. There was one video they showed that was about 7 minutes long, and we'll pull that up. I know I wrote it in my notes and I clipped stuff so that way because I knew you were
thank you
missing
so
it.
much. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so I dropped the link. The interview is tomorrow, Adrian. It's Crime Curious and Chris Welch. I dropped their links, and I'll keep dropping them throughout the stream. Ooh, how did that happen? So the link that comes after Curious is her channel, and then the link after Bendy is Jenn's channel. But they'll be live on Crime Curious, and we'll be live on Jenn's tomorrow. But tonight we're just gonna be here talking about it all. Okay, so then he goes on. He said a couple things to her, like he was really not playing today. Before you go off on another tangent, which she does, she had a really hard time answering the questions simply. And I wonder, like you said, Crime Curious, she's experienced, but is it her age or something? I don't know. We have the clock test.
I think her son hotboxed her in the car. That's what I think.
Got her
or in the hotel room. I think so.
Mm-hmm. He asked her, he puts her on the spot about a lot of stuff. He says, why did Letecia stop the video after Gannon mentioned his burns? And she says that she wasn't thinking clearly or accurately. Clearly, she wasn't thinking clearly or accurately. Think about the text she sent about missing work about her dad. He had died 8 years previously, which she was wrong. It was more than that. But she said, she isn't stupid, and he's like, well, she called Gannon's school and told them he wouldn't be there. And they talk about the video, and he mentions he's wearing the same clothes that he was wearing when he was found. And I remember, though, 22 Tantrums made a point last night that she saw someone having a psychotic break that was calling into work. I think that can happen, just not in this instance,
Right. Well, I think what's interesting is when you take it as a totality. So the first thing she does is she makes this ridiculous video where she's gaslighting that sweet boy. And I would also go a little step further because it is my belief that she coached him. And the reason she cut it off is because he wasn't supposed to say my burns. He was supposed to say the burns. That's what I have nothing to base that on other than it makes no the reason you would record something is because you want to keep it for later, right? So what would be the point of recording anything and then right when he gets to the part that you want to talk about, you shush him? It's because he didn't say what she wanted him to say. And that's just what I think. And he sounds very confused about it.
You've been thinking that for a while now. So that's really interesting. I don't know.
And I think that then she texts Al, right? That's her next thing on her to-do list, and gives him a cockamamie story. But if you notice, her story to Al is one of, I'm letting you know what happened, and I want your attention, but I don't want to really hear you bitch. So she sort of makes it out as if it's no big deal. Yeah. Those were in those texts. Then after that, she does whatever the hell she does for the next few hours. And then at 4:30 in the morning, she texts her work. And the reason that I think she texted her work and told them that story is because I think she thought that if she said that she had a death in the family, there would be no more questions after that, which is why she got an attitude when there were.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think she did. And and I think that shows that she was buying time, if nothing else, period. Okay.
It's really interesting. And I do agree with you. I do. Let me see what I was going to say, because I had some. Oh, yeah. Okay. After, he's pressing her a lot, and there's some, he talks about Gannon fighting back. Then, Dorothy makes this comment and says, this is a child that she loved. I don't know if it was even her. And then again, she says, this is a child she allegedly loved. And Dave stopped her and is like, well, I'm glad you said allegedly, because are you aware she made the Google searches? I don't like my son. So he did really well there. He was very quick, and, I don't know. Let me see.
Speaking of not liking people, what the hell is her problem with Robert De Niro?
I feel like she didn't give him a credit or something. Maybe
he didn't give her a credit?
Yeah, like maybe he didn't credit her in whatever movie she was trying to help him with.
Somebody needs to call Bobby. Bobby,
Maria.
what's the deal with Lewis?
Yeah, what the heck? What happened with you and Dorothy? She's very agitated.
We didn't clean the audio, but I do have some tweets of people that were in there. Oh, wait, somebody said what jury questions were. Hold on, let me try to go back to that. Someone called in on Icked Mails that was in there, and they told what the jury questions were. One was about malingering. Hold on.
Yeah, so the one who calls into Icked Mail, her name is Amy, and she's the first one who told me about being able to smell pot in the courtroom.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's pretty funny because today we heard of, the same thing. So she's okay. From Icked Mail's guest, the jury questions were, how do you know she wasn't malingering? And since Bellevue Hospital opened, the diagnosis for DID went up. Has it went down since you've left?
Well, we need the answers to those. Those are good questions.
That's an excellent question. Well, the only thing that we know for sure is that she did not answer it with either a yes or a no.
Yeah. She never does.
That for sure.
She's the worst at that shit. She's just, and he got, there was a lot today. Today was a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Let me play this one because I don't remember what it was, but let's see. And while it plays, I'm going to watch it on my phone. It's 2 minutes long, and go run and try to see if I left my cigarettes at my mom's. So if it stops, that's what's going on. But okay. Oh, definitely need the audio.
Thank you. May all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has low in the courtroom. So, Dr. Lewis, what can we do to make sure that you're here and ready to go on 20? What do you need?
Magic.
Well, it's about
Right. Okay. Well, the reason I asked that question is because you were supposed to be here yesterday at 9, weren't. We're supposed to be here yesterday at 1 o'clock, weren't. We're supposed to be here this morning at 9 o'clock and weren't. So we need to start. We need to have everybody, whatever it is that needs to be done in such a fashion so that we're here ready to start at 1:20. Is there anything that I can do to help make sure that that happens?
Make her draw a clock, Your Honor.
I will make that effort to.
Okay.
The attorneys, Your Honor, I did call last night for.
I understand that.
Take it.
Okay.
That was why there was a difficulty, because I thought, I didn't want to be late for you.
Right.
Make it in the afternoon or tomorrow, because I was quite ill.
Feeling better now? Are you feeling better now? Right now? Good. Okay. All right. All right. Well, we will hope that that will continue. Do whatever it is that you need to do. Communicate with me in whatever fashion that you need to communicate so that we will have everybody here in place, ready to go at 1:20. Please.
What do you guys think about her constantly being late and kind of showing such a disregard for like the rules in the process?
For a second, I forgot that it was automatically muted whenever you play a video. And so when he started and he says, what do I need to do to help you? Or what do you need in order to be here on time? I unmuted myself and I said, magic.
And I said draw a clock, but I forgot to mute myself.
Yeah, I heard the magic, but I didn't hear the draw a clock. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just surprised, I'll be honest. And you guys, a lot of people were asking where Al was because there's a lot of bald people in here. So we have this bald guy, a bald guy over to the right that was wearing a black suit. Al is right here. He was really hard to see. And then Landon is right here. I tried to go get the clearest picture I could, but yeah. So, yeah, but I was just surprised. She's done this so many times. I just can't understand how she would, I don't know, just disregard the rules like that. It made them look really bad. They really.
It did.
I mean,
It did.
and there's Landon. She looks pretty. See right here? You can kind of see. It's hard to tell, but okay. See, there's that other bald guy. There's tons of bald guys in there. Nobody.
You're a bald guy. They're a bald guy. Everywhere a bald guy.
The one on the left is Kevin Clark, and then the one right behind Dave Young. So the one standing there in gray, that's Dave Clark. Or I'm sorry, not Dave Clark, Kevin Clark.
Okay.
Kevin Clark. He was the final witness for the prosecution, and he sits in that front row because he's advisory. And then there's the guy that's right behind Dave Young at the podium, and that's the guy I was talking about yesterday. I call him Secret Agent Man. He's the one that reminds me of an absolute assassin.
He does. He definitely does. Look at him.
Wonder what he thought of Maria's Russian accent.
Look at her.
I noticed him looking over there a lot.
Assassin that she's also. He does look over there a lot?
He was during the testimony where she was, doing the accent thing.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh my God. I wish the audio was better. It was horrible. It was just awful. You could hardly hear anything. Let me see. Let me click on
I'm in the process right now of clipping out all of the interview parts, and I'm going to send those to Raldo, and he said he can fix and or enhance that audio to the best of his ability. So I might have something for you later tonight.
Oh, yes. That's awesome.
Great. Okay, so another part, before they go on the break, this reminded me of Lori's trial. There was a similar interaction, but he asked her if someone is psychotic, it's obvious, right? And she says, no, wrong. That's movies. So I thought that was interesting. And then after that is when we have the marijuana incident. And, you know, not only is she showing up, you know, she can't be on time. She can't answer straight. She hasn't showed up before. She's twisted all kinds of shit because that EEG situation got straightened out today. But then she brings her son into the fucking interview with Letecia and in the courtroom smoking ganja. And y'all know I'm all about that, but not like that. You know,
No, you got to be respectful. Not just because I love Mary Jane doesn't mean everybody loves Mary Jane. You know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, 11-year-old baby has passed away. 11-year-old child is no longer with his family. His sister is traumatized. His parents don't have their baby. Take it serious.
Right. It's not like you are doing press for the HBO movie and you need to roll up late with your entourage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, not movie, but documentary. You know what I mean? But that's how she's treating it.
Yep, exactly. My son has schizophrenia. Psychosis is so obvious. A break from reality is glaringly apparent. Well, here, I think this is going to be where the audio is bad, but we'll try to hear. I've got a lot of messages that go through, or a lot of tweets and stuff that describe some of what was happening in this. But first, we'll try to watch it, and then okay. Hold on.
Yes. And that's what it. I took the gun, I fired the gun at someone. They had a cape on, they were having a leaf friend.
She said, that's what I do. She kept saying, I protect people. If you guys couldn't understand her, she said, I took the gun and I fired at someone. So I'm going to keep playing it, but it's so hard to understand. I hope they can clean that up.
This part of the audio was a lot better than the earlier audio that we got after lunch. The first, before they took their 20-minute break, these parts are a little better. They're still not that great though.
Yeah. Well, good. At least they're a little better, but look how clear the background is on this, where I took it from. I can't get over that. Okay. This is so infuriating. She's an awful actress.
I took the gun, I fired the gun at someone. They had a cape on, they were having a leaf friend. And so, yes, the neighbor's friend. No, yeah. I am the leader's man, okay? So I do. This is what I call. This is the old, yes. So I did. Took the man, okay? Oh. They come to the home, that's what I do. I will protect the people that I love. I don't want to do that, okay? I don't understand that wrong. When did you realize there was some person? I don't realize anything. I don't need anything. I never need anything after I did my house. I never need anything after I did my house. So what did you think? They were not supposed to do, which is a photograph. Red. So Red was there for Letecia and her family, and they put theirs. So short. Because Letecia and her family, they were missing, and I had to protect them. Letecia's family. Letecia's son was missing. I protect him, just what I do. She was upset, everyone was upset. Little baby girl was upset, everyone was crying. That's what I do. And that's I don't know what happened in China.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to go look for. I still can't find my cigarettes. I'm getting pissed because you know she makes you need them majorly.
Yes.
But yeah, the audio is horrible, you guys. Okay. Let me see. Oh, they do the look at this fist bump. I couldn't get over just even the vibe of this whole thing. I'm sorry, but this was like
It was all bad. It was all bad.
We
It
have
was
the
all bad.
lawyer in there asking questions, helping with the story. That part blew my mind.
And then it gets discovered that the son is there, and then she tries to cover and say, oh, no, he was working the video camera, except for the problem with that was that he is on video leaving the room while the video is still going. So try again, Dorothy.
Yeah, and she doesn't recognize him.
No, that was the other thing. Sorry. I'm going to act right. I promise.
You're fine.
How do you not? That's your son. Okay.
There, I was trying to show that. Oh, pointer lover. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really sweet. Yeah. Do you reckon? Oh, where did Jen go? She fell.
I don't know. She fell off.
Oops. Well, I hope she's all right.
After that super sticker, there's a question saying who wants to take this, and it went by too quick, and I missed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, Alex Erickson or Jenn Lu, anyone who wants to answer, what are the chances this doctor secured Letecia's chances for a retrial due to ineffective defense? I wondered the same thing. I don't know. You know, Jen would know better than me because I've not followed a lot of trials. A lot of the cases I've followed, like Watts, or, you know, have not ended up in trial, and that's her specialty. So what do you think, Jen?
I think that these are slim to none. That she does not. It's called ineffective assistance of counsel, and an ineffective assistance of counsel appeal is very, very rarely successful. It's very, very difficult. There have been situations where it's been blatant that there's impropriety on the part of the defense. I can give like one example would be Brandon Dassey's attorneys or attorney. Let the prosecution administer some tests and question Brandon after his arrest without them being present. That's ineffective. And then in like the West Memphis 3 trial, Jesse Miskelly Jr., by Arkansas statute, his attorney, Dan, why can't I remember his name right now? I can see his face. His attorney was not qualified to take the case. He could not represent Jesse Miskelly, Dan Stidham, because he had no experience. He had not ever tried a felony, number one. He mainly dealt with plea deals, and he just by Arkansas statute, not by like, did I think Dan did a good job or not? No, this was their rules. And he should not have even been appointed as Jesse Miskelly's attorney, which I have my suspicions about that. Personally, I think the reason that that he was appointed is because he was good at taking plea deals. And when he got in there to start representing Jesse, he thought he was prepping a witness. to testify against Damien and Jason, to be quite honest. And he was going to negotiate the best deal for Jesse Miss Kelly, but then other things happened. But anyway, an ineffective assistance of counsel is a very, 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 very difficult appeal. It is almost never successful.
What do you think, Crime Curious? Have you thought about that at all, or?
I haven't really, and I'm just so glued to the image that's on the screen, and I apologize. I can't get over, like, she needs to have a pack of cigarettes rolled up in one of those sleeves. She looks like she's getting ready to, like, go drag race a 1965
You know
Pontiac.
who she looks like? She looks like, remember in American Horror Asylum when they fast forward and they then make the asylum, instead of they make it a prison, it's part of a prison, and they bust in all the inmates. Yeah. That's what she looks like. She looks like, I can't remember what her name is. I'm tired, you guys. I probably should just mute because I can feel the rambles coming.
It's okay. But look at her smile. Look at Dorothy. Like she's like, it's very bizarre. Their interactions are bizarre as hell. I don't know. Look at this one.
Maybe this is how it came out that when you're a jet. No, this is what was reminiscent of West Side Story for Dr. Lewis. When you're a jet all the way.
Oh, look, she was slipping off again today.
Oh, of course she was. Who was she flipping off today, though?
I don't know. This one was found out on a Facebook group. It was screenshot and put on Twitter, but it just shows her. It was just a quick thing there. Holy moly. Let me see what else is in
Maybe the prosecutor, because that might have been when he was cross-examining Dorothy, which was all day.
Okay, here's a
yeah. I mean, that's something that really stuck with me as well. I mean, okay, so you know how Dorothy Lewis hasn't been paid yet? Yes. I'm thinking she should just rip up the invoice from the defense and just go ahead and send an invoice to the prosecution, because I mean,
she helped them more than she helped the defense, but then that goes to show you get what you pay for, right? And she ain't been paid anything.
Oh my God.
Right, but after the 11 billionth
I've converted another one. Yes.
Oh, you definitely have. You definitely have. Yeah, I feel like the prosecution should pay her at this point.
That is so funny.
They should pay her,
Amanda?
And send her like flowers and a nice thank you basket after that.
Amanda.
Maybe a nice little Maggie's Farm care package for her son.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I don't know what this clip is either, because like I said, it's in order of the way things happen, but so I'll just play it and then we'll see and always understand it.
She's very young. So my ears are really different than yours. You cannot even comprehend my ears. They're different. Don't even try.
Okay, so they're talking about age, and she says, "You cannot even comprehend my ears. They're different. Don't even try." Just like that.
I mean, Letecia, have you not ever watched, like, I know she's younger than me, but still, and even Rocky and Bullwinkle was before my time, but they used to come on in the afternoons. Come on, Letecia, you never seen Boris and Natasha? Boris, darling. I mean, come on, it's not that hard.
I always felt this way. She's very young. So my ears are really different than yours. You cannot even comprehend my ears. They're different. Don't even try.
Don't even trip.
Don't even trip.
Yeah.
Are you normal?
So, have been to attention for temperature for a long time. For what? What's that? Who's going to get this information? I don't see anyone else. What? I don't see anyone else. I'm always clean.
it's so hard to understand, but she's asking her something about who needs protection. And she says, I don't see anyone. I don't see anyone else. Oh my God. I just don't understand. How do you go to Yale, to Harvard? You study for 50 years and she fools you? I'm sorry, but I think my 6-year-old would know she's full of shit. You know? I just don't understand.
But I also think that what I actually, God help me for saying this, but some of her long-winded answers did provide some insight, not necessarily into Letecia, but into Dr. Lewis and her way of thinking. And quite honestly, it seems to me that her premise really going into these types of situations is that murder is not rational. You cannot it's a very irrational act. The person at the time is irrational. And B, that because it's irrational and they're not in their rational state of mind, clearly something is wrong with them, right? So she's already kind of working under something is already going on with this person, right? And then she just, I'm tired. It'll come back to me. I lost it. It'll come back.
At one point, Dave Young asked her a question that just blew my mind, and I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And of course, she couldn't answer it, but Dave Young asked her something along the lines of, so, doctor, do you think that if that suitcase was never found, that you'd be here testifying on a not guilty by reason of insanity plea? And I was like, bam!
Yes, that was such a good question. Such a good question.
When he's like, he mentioned something about Gannon saying, I want to be with my mother, not you. And that was interesting to me that he said that. So, yeah, that really stood out to me because I'm like, oh.
Well, and I felt like a lot of his questions, they were asked of the doctor, and he knew that the doctor was not going to answer them. I feel like he was using Dr. Lewis to talk directly to the jury, to get directly into the jury's heads, because whether she answered the questions or not, they heard them and they answered them for themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would agree with that.
Thank you, Backyard Garden. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Boom. When you said boom.
I think that's a lot of the reason for his tone with her too, because I do think that he felt like there was some shenanigans, but I did think that it was interesting that in the rebuttal, rather than have her sum up and or ask her questions about the job which they're there to do, which is to defend Letecia, they defended their honor. I thought that was interesting, that's what they chose to use their time on. Yes.
Yes, they did. But you know what? I'm sorry. I would too, because they were made out to look like straight liars by her.
I know. And now I have to retract that. Yes, from yesterday.
Did either of you guys see the message I just sent in Messenger?
No, let me look.
It's a screenshot of a message with Chris. So right now, in this very moment, our friend Chris is sitting at a table at a law event, and he's sitting at the same table as Judge Werner.
Oh my God.
And they cannot discuss the case.
Oh my God. Can they after? They can, right? Afterwards,
yes.
After, yeah, but right now would be incredibly inappropriate.
I mean, everybody else has been inappropriate. What's one more person at this point?
I just want to ask Chris, like, okay, how much is he drinking?
Yeah, no doubt. I bet he's drinking. I bet he's like, oh God, and they get a break tomorrow from it.
I should ask Chris if I should ask Chris if I can send him like a Cash App or something just to buy Judge Werner a shot.
Do it. Yeah.
Do it. Christine G. Her first tattoo is going to be that thing, the Russian flag. Duh.
All right, let me see what this clip. Oh, this is about her son being there. Okay, so I'm gonna play it for a
Okay.
second. Look at him. I mean, I don't know who that is. Oh, I can't
Loki, he
recognize
kind of looks like a ninja. I mean,
What is your son doing in the interview room?
the sound is so bad on this clip. The sound is so bad on that clip. Usually her clips are very good, but there he is in the picture anyways. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Why would her son be there? Why would she? I don't understand. It's very.
I mean-
Well, and I like how he pointed out, because she was like, well, he wanted, he was running the camera. And Dave Young was like, no, he's not. The camera shuts off when he's across the room.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's a terrible lie.
He was on it. He was on it today. He really was. He did a great
well, I
job.
think that okay, I talked about this earlier. I think him being there, as in the actual jail, no big deal, because he probably takes care of his mom. Let's be honest,
Right.
But to be in the actual room, which you can tell is a room that is used by the jail mainly for attorney-client. So that was, it is what it is, but he shouldn't have been in the room. I think it was highly inappropriate. I think it was completely unprofessional. And frankly, I don't think that the attorney should have been allowed in there either.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
If he had a question, well, if he had it, helping. You know what'll keep your,
helping with the story. He was like,
yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're for protection. You know what'll help if you're that worried about your safety, Dr. Lewis, to do what Dr. Torres and Dr. Gray did and shackle her ass. She did just fine while she was shackled. It didn't affect her at all. She was able to answer all the things just fine. And she was able to drink her apple juice and eat her PB&J. So there you go.
I dropped the panel guest channels in the chat. Definitely go subscribe. You don't want to miss it. And there's a lot happening. You don't want to miss on either channel. I'll just say that. Definitely go subscribe. Okay, so then let's see. We have after the phones ring. Did you guys catch the other hot mic moment?
No.
Okay, that was the part, because look here, I have We Meet Maria. Let's watch 7-minute clip together that I was going to show you. And then right after that, we have a hot mic moment where we hear the judge asking for another security guard.
Oh, and yes, that one I heard. Yes.
Now, is that because of...
That's because there were people in the gallery acting like Bullhorn friggin' Betty.
Oh, no way.
What were they doing?
Not with their words, but taking pictures and, acting like paparazzi.
Right. Oh,
for Pete's sake.
22 tantrums. If you would have been there, I wonder if you could have heard the audio like clearly in person.
In person, the audio is a whole different deal. In person, we would have been able to hear all of it very well.
The judge even
I don't care. I'm FOIA-ing that.
Oh, let me pull this up.
Sorry,
the judge
sorry, Allie.
No, you're okay. We got a little delay anyways, and I don't care. I want you guys to speak up if you got something to say, because I love listening to both of your inputs. But today, after that whole security guard thing, then he brings up People's Exhibit 735. It's an email between Tolini and Dr. Lewis. And he's pointing out to her that she had knowledge about the EEG and that she asked to withdraw the request. And you know what? He kept asking her, is this your email? And she kept giving these answers in circles and circles. Finally, the judge said, the question is simple. Is this an email you sent? He was pissed. And in the email, she said, and I quote, go ahead and withdraw that EEG. We'll address at a later time. Well, damn, yesterday, I don't know.
Yesterday, he was a whole liar.
Yeah. Yeah, even on and she really believed he was lying. So is she I just think she's too old to be doing this or something. And I'm sorry, I'm not,
Or something.
Or
yeah, there's
something.
here's some people that could hear. At one point, Melissa actually mentioned that she said that a kitchen knife was mentioned. She said that she used a kitchen knife. So I wonder if that's the object that she used. We've always wondered what did she use to create the sharp force wounds?
If it is, they never found it, just like they never found the shell casings. Which once again leads to the fact that she knew what she was doing enough to cover it up and hide things and lie about things, and I mean, she just wasn't out of control at all. I was watching a channel last night, and they were reading several of these letters that Letecia had written to someone. And it was one of the letters was dated like April 25th of 2020. And so that's back at the time where she was claiming, her innocence. And this is after the FBI interview and she even talks about Harley's father being murdered in this letter. And she's talking about, and she's a real soldier for Christ in this letter. I mean, she's quotes, certain, anyway, but and that was, after Gannon's body had been found and everything, but that was still at the stage where she was being set up.
Yes.
I mean, was she in psychosis then?
And nobody would listen to her.
Right. I just, it's not like I'm this personality stuff didn't. Anyway.
It didn't come out until, the prosecution is correct. It did not come out until her first competency. That's just the way it happened.
Yep, that is true. In that video, someone said they hear her saying, "Tell me about the cape." And Dr. Lewis asked Letecia to retell the story. So these are some of the things that we probably couldn't hear. Other people heard. That's why I grabbed little screenshots like this. But she is Letecia right now, not Maria. Lewis asked again a leading question. A man. Let me see what else. Dr. Lewis. Wait, it's backwards. Now, this is Nicole Fierro. She's a reporter who's in there live tweeting. She says she's reading a letter in the footage from the interview. It's not in English, and the doctor is trying to figure out what language. Dr. Lewis is reading what she's sounding out as "Rest in Peace, Gannon" on this note. Dr. Lewis to Letecia in video. "Do you believe that's a confession from Maria?" Dr. Lewis, "Maria did it." Letecia says, "Well, I didn't." So she's in the courtroom. She's directly quoting it. But oh my God, let me see what else. They are looking.
Right, so it was in Latin, not Spanish.
What was up with that? Like, that threw me off too. What? And hold on, I got notes on it because she said that she lost the documents. It was all gibberish, though. It wasn't real Latin, right? That's what I wrote in my notes. Or what? Do I have it wrong? Because I don't know.
I'm not exact. That part was a little fuzzy to me as well. Was Letecia? I highly doubt Letecia was speaking Latin. Maybe pig Latin. But not but not actual real Latin. And what she was doing is writing notes, which is and they don't have, and any of those notes are gone. They were not saved. Which, why you wouldn't save those, I don't know. That makes absolutely no sense to me. But a lot of things about what was done make no sense to me.
Right. And then did you see how frustrated the judge got when they were talking about making copies of all of the stuff in her magic bag? Her literal bag of tricks.
Yes.
And she was like, "Well, listen, if you copy those, you have to copy them in color or else they're not going to be accurate." And the judge was just like, "Okay, look." He was just not having it. Like, oh my God.
I've accommodated you and your whack ass long enough, ma'am. Now you're going to tell me how to run the copy machine? I don't think so.
I know. He was really, it was very tense in there today. Let me see what this clip is. It's they're all in order, like I said, but I don't remember each one because I didn't label them.
research. What is malingering among friends? Do you think she went around a teaching salary? What is wrong with you people? What is really teaching? You think it was legal? And that's how she got off, right? Do you really think it was legal? You don't want me to sit here and talk with us? No. Okay.
So it's hard to understand her, but I know I took that one just because she's like yelling at Dr. Lewis in the interrogation or in the whatever. I don't even know what you call this. The in their
Interview exam, the same, the sanity examination. Yeah.
with their hangout sesh.
Evaluation. Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like one.
Chilling in the jail.
Okay, then we have she's really trying to pull off Russian spy with the mom bum, and it's a 2-minute clip. Let's see what it is. It's just so hard to understand what they say, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to try? What do you want me to try? Just
What do you want me to try? I mean,
Fuck off. God, Letecia. I can't.
look at her face. Look at her.
Her mom bun almost looks like a mohawk.
She's like glaring at her, but Dr. Lewis did say her whole like the whole vibe changed. I forget the word she said, but like she even acted different. You know, it was that whole. I don't look at them. Oh,
I
my
think
God.
the person that we're seeing on the screen, I do not think Letecia Stauch has DID, but I think she, like every other human being on the planet, has different aspects to her personality. And what I think that we're seeing on the screen right now is the part of Letecia, the cold, calculating, and cruel part of Letecia. And that's what I think we're seeing. I don't think she's an alter. I think it's her. And I think she's talking, you know, whatever.
She's just
like
allowing her evilness to come out.
Correct.
You know, she's just allowing it to come out. And okay, I'm gonna press play again because I can kind of hear what they're saying. But if either of you guys want to say something though before I do, let me know.
Okay.
I just want to say that to me, this entire interview, all of the clips from all of the days, to me, I just feel like Letecia, it was one big interview for some sick reality show.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what is she going to do after this? Because I feel the same way. She kind of, you know, even today watching her as everything ended, she stood up and she smiles real big and she's like looking around and I'm like, dude, when this is done, you know where you go from here, right? Like forever. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, she's already trying to bring people together to sue the jail. You know, maybe she's going to be that person in prison where she tries to bring people together against the man. And I don't know. I don't know. I know she wants to write a book.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she needs to learn.
She can't legally make money from it, but I think that she's going to try and find a way. I mean, some of the what she's asking for in that federal lawsuit is restitution. She wants to get paid. Like, what are you going to do with it?
I mean, how much ramen noodle can one person eat?
Right.
We know you're not using it on healthcare products or, you know, hygiene products, I should say. Although hygiene is very important to you, according to one of your complaints.
Batty says, Alex, I think before the video is turned on, she was hypnotized. How do we know any different? We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know nothing. We don't know what happened during their 3-hour meeting. We don't know. Dorothy doesn't even know what happened. You know what I mean?
She was there.
I do wish that they would have somehow submitted at least that, you know, bullshit 40 minutes that Tellini was kind enough to record on Sunday.
Yes.
You know, but because it was never submitted, approved, or published, we'll never see it.
Ooh,
Parker, I think we all need a break from
and
Letecia and her bullshit for
tomorrow,
one day.
Melanie P might take the stand. Jen, you could live tweet stream that or something, but regardless, we're going to go live on her channel, on Jen's channel tomorrow night to talk about Lori Vallow. And Ian was on the stand today. I haven't had a chance to catch up for like the last few hours of their day, but I think there's going to be some major bombshells in that case because
Melanie P is who we're waiting for, and Ian is also. Go ahead. Sorry, Allie. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
I'm
that's
awful
okay.
today.
They were just right in the middle of it as it was all happening, Oh, black belt, babe. Thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you. Theory. Son props Doc up by writing reports, corresponding with attorneys, culling evidence to support conclusion, lies to both attorneys and Doc to manage both. Also, why her report looks nothing like all her other reports. That's an interesting theory.
Plot
It's kind of
thickens.
like, like when like the theory was about Biden. And I don't know, I'm not getting political here. Let's not do that at all, you guys. I'm just saying half the country has a theory that he's not really running the country. He's, just being controlled by other people because he's older and kind of lost his wit or whatever. And I guess, is that kind of what you mean, black belt, babe? Like, or BB, like that, I guess. That'd be crazy, but there is that is very interesting to me that this report did not look like her other ones, and that she has actively in her book said, it's important not to diagnose without these scans or other things, talking to the family, and then she didn't do it, and she's coming to testify. I don't know. It's just mind-blowing to me, but I think that's why he's also in the room for the interviews. That's interesting. Yeah, we're not getting political. I'm just saying.
He has an amazing amount of insight. I do remember, and I believe Jen will back me up on this too, that when Dorothy was like she's my pal, when Dr. Lewis was writing her book, she's physically writing the pages, and she gives them to her son along with her notes, right? And he is the one that did the actual typing. I mean, on the computer, obviously, but I guess the proper word for it would be transcription. So he would have insight into all of her cases. He helped her, at least that part of it. The finished product is obviously, I would imagine, goes to the publisher, but before that, it's the manuscript, and I think that's what he helped with. Right?
I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep going. I was also getting distracted because I don't want the chat I don't want you guys fussing over politics. I was just saying that.
No.
I actually am right in the middle. I don't really like either side. But so, yeah, I just don't want you guys doing that. And, okay, let's keep going. Just because I don't want you getting mad at each other, and yeah.
You know what I think? I think with your normality, you want to be almost invisible. I have jobs to do. I do job there. You do. What does he see? Communication control. I always have for which who do you turn this information to? Us. I don't have to do that. No, you don't need to. I'm just trying to. I want to. I think you can tell. I don't think you would. I'm working my ass off to help this. It's a very because if you're cutting a strong arm,
Hey, Lulu, Lisa Lulu.
so. This is very much. I don't know.
Yeah, so she's basically just saying it's so hard to understand it, but she's asking, why are you asking me these questions? And she's trying to explain it to her. To me, though, all I can see when I look at that is it's so obvious what she's doing. I just don't understand how, with the education and experience that she has, that she wouldn't see that. It's really crazy. Let's see. Now she said something inaudible about how he was stabbed. Now we are back to Lena helped carry Gannon. Nobody lasts long living in belief Tisha mode, and I think we just saw the doctor's face indicate that her belief Tisha mode switch has been turned to the off position for hours. Is that her attorney popping on questioning Letecia? Yes, her attorney was on there asking questions and helping guide through the answers, explaining who Brenda was, her aunt, and different things like that. Let me see if someone said anyone. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say he flat out planted the idea that she believed it was Jackass James instead of Gannon, and he said it more than once. I mean, that was pushing a narrative.
I completely agree. He was definitely, and I just that's frustrating. And crazy ass James, as what's his name calls it. So someone heard them say, Letecia or Maria says, "You guys live in a perfect world. You guys live in a perfect world." Then she says, "You want to see the muscles I have?" Let's see. I'm not going to read the rest. I'm just trying to find the quotes from the thing. "You think this is a joke? This is not a joke," says Letecia in same Russian accent. "You can't snitch," says Maria. "What is wrong with you people?" Letecia or Maria screams. And she did. I heard her keep saying, "You can't switch." And what was it she kept repeating? I'm trained to kill. It's what I do. I'm trained to kill. It's what I do. Okay? I'm trained to kill. Okay? It's what I do.
I'm trained to kill.
Oh my God.
It was absolutely preposterous. Letecia, don't get up. You're not going to get any type of recognition from the Academy this year, ma'am, or any other year for that matter. Sit down.
Oh, Riddler. I love Riddler. You're so sweet. Thanks for your superior sustained performance. Thank you.
The best.
You are the best.
Yeah, and I like how she kept trying to claim that, she's trained to kill, but only bad people, and they don't matter. I mean, she could kill just bad people, and that's fine. I don't care about that, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh. Yeah, and oh my God.
Okay, so are we getting to the part with the thing yet where there's the whole explosion about the papers, or they're going through looking at the papers? That's the part. I mean, I'll go back and watch it. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. I just want to watch it. I just want to see it.
I don't know. Let me see. I got all kinds of different stuff I grabbed.
Okay.
Well, no. Let me pull up the lab actually, because I wanted to pull up that first. Let me see. One part of it anyways. I'm going to do crime talk this time so y'all can see how clear this is. You can actually see the facial expressions that they're making as they're talking and stuff like that. It is so good. I can't get over it. How is he doing that live though, Jen? I know he's out in Colorado, and
so those are your screens. So even when it's live, it's a better quality.
Yeah. Well, it's live.
I'm not sure. I'll have to watch and see. I'm sure it's some type of software.
I'm going to share the channel link because it's only right.
That probably costs $11 billion.
Zach DuPont is finally releasing the jury questions. Ooh, okay. Let me pull that up actually, because Crime Curious was talking about that too. Yeah, somebody changed her Wikipedia. It's still like that on my phone, but on the computer, I can't see it. Let me show you guys what they changed it to. You can pull it up on Wikipedia and see. It says, Dorothy Lewis is an American psychiatrist and author who has been an expert witness at a number of high-profile cases. Currently, May 3rd, 2023, she is testifying in the Letecia Stauch case and making a fool of herself. She specializes in the study of violent individuals and people with DID. Yeah, and it's still like that because I just looked like 5 minutes ago before I brought it up.
I would like to point out that once again, the internet remains undefeated.
Okay, Zach DuPont. Let's go to his. And there was somebody sharing his picture in like the Facebook groups or something, asking like, does anybody know who this is? Like looking for him. Okay. Here is jury question thread. Please note, I am going to be heavily paraphrasing the jury questions and especially the answers. So not a lot of direct quotes. There were 7 total questions from the jury. Let's get into it. Juror question number 1. In what way would Stauch giving Gannon enemas impact her relationship with him? Answer. Lewis said that enemas, especially performed regularly on a child, can be a form of child molestation and SA. However, Lewis cautioned that this claim from Stauch may not be true. Wow.
Oh, that's the claim. Yes. I mean, didn't I say that it might not be true? But I mean, I don't want to be agreeing with Dr. Lewis over here.
I can't believe she said that in her answer. But she may not be telling the truth. I'm glad she did because damn.
Thank you. About time, Dr. Lewis. She's been lying this whole last time.
Any thoughts, Jen? I'm gonna stop on each one and hear y'all's thoughts. The other Jen, both of y'all actually, but you hadn't.
Not at this time. I'm working on my Russian.
I'll get back to you later. No,
that was actually damn good.
She's doing really well.
Juror question number 2. Did the number of cases drop at Bellevue, the hospital Lewis used to work at, after Lewis's dissociative identity disorder clinic opened? Answer. Lewis said there was no actual research conducted on this as far as she knows, but she would bet money that the answer is yes. Yeah, Lily's mom, right? Of all the things Al corroborated her yes, he did mail, but I wonder if it was actually often like that. And I'm just, that's really upsetting because you hear that he's having accidents and that's, you think that could possibly upset her or piss her off. But when you give enemas, that will happen. And I don't know, your mind could go many places with this, and it's really disturbing and upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, juror question number 3. How do you determine if someone is faking or exaggerating their mental illness or not? Answer. Lewis gave a very long-winded answer to this, but essentially said what she had said a couple times in trial about this, that you have to look how someone acts in an interview and look at evidence of it existing outside the interview in things like past writings. She was the reason for all his stomach problems too. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I mean, it's just so blatantly obvious that those kids got put in the middle of all of the adults' drama, whether that's, forcing Gannon to say goodbye to the stepdad and, all that stuff that we heard about, or the custody battle, or, Letecia trying to be a shining star and the most amazing stepmom ever. The kids were right in the middle of that. Cool. Right. And then remember when she was talking about the conversations that she had with him on that Sunday, about how she was pregnant and she had all these miscarriages. He's an 11-year-old little boy. He doesn't need to hear about your miscarriages. Okay.
It's a highly inappropriate conversation.
And the only reason for that conversation would have been manipulation. And so if you've got all of these just sick, twisted manipulations, I mean, yeah, it's a real shocker. He's got stomach problems and anxiety, and then you add in all the medication and, just everything else.
Didn't she say at one point, like, to add to your point, like, I wanted him to see that his mom wasn't doing what she was supposed to be doing. Like, she said that in an interview.
She did say that. She did say that. She said it. She said she knew it was wrong, which, again, I knew it was wrong. She said she knew it was wrong, but there would be times that Gannon would want something like a toy or, you know, something that kids want. And that she would tell him, well, you know, maybe if your mom didn't have to have her nails done or whatever it was that she would say, something to that effect, you know, then you could have these things.
My God.
She did that a lot.
Right. And she wanted him to choose sides. Well,
Right.
more specifically, she wanted him to choose her side. And I'm sure
Correct.
that there were consequences for not doing so.
Which is why I think that I don't think you were up here when I said this, and I'm curious if we talked a lot about that Mother's Day card that he wrote to her.
Aaron, if that's how you say it, if so, that's a really cool way to say it. He was on ADHD medication. And the Mother's Day card, what was that, Jen? My mind was on one track in that comment before you started.
Crime Curious said that she wanted him to take sides, which the only side to take would be Letecia's. And if he didn't, there would be consequences. And it reminds me of that Mother's Day card where he is reassuring her that she's the best stepmother in the whole world and that he does not know what he would do without her. And he's so glad that his dad met her.
Yeah, that was sad. I'll show that in a sec too. Actually, I have it right here before we go on because it's a different page. Christine, those are the thoughts that bother me the most. Those are the thoughts I have like Sunday, like over the weekend. I was stuck in this, even though I weren't watching stuff. It was just all I could think about. And those are the things I think about. Like, did he know how long did he recognize like this is serious and I may not, you know, I'm not going to make it out. And how long did he know that? Like, and he, I don't know. He was riding around with her all day and stuff. Certainly he probably didn't think that at that time or he would have asked for help. But there's the Mother's Day card. Oh, Pointer Lover. Thank you. If I ever go on trial, I want you and Jenn Lu as my lawyers. And no, Dr. Lewis, please. Well, I'll be your lawyer assistant. How about that? Because I'm not.
Yeah, I can assist. I'm not qualified either. I don't think if I went in there, yeah, or pay for me to go to law school.
Yeah. Okay, back to these jury questions. Listen to this one. Juror question number 4. This is disappointing. Did you perform any tests to help determine if Stauch was fake or exaggerating DID? You know what she said? Yes.
Which
That's
ones?
It.
Then she decides to say yes. Now this is the one question she doesn't expound on.
I cannot.
Probably the single most important question that could be asked as of yes, right? And this is the one she chooses to be quick about. All right.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. Okay, so I have this elf bar because, you know, I can't find my cigarettes, but I had this in my purse. Have you ever tried one of these?
No, what are they?
It's a vape. Yeah, but it's like they're very popular because people love their flavors and stuff, but they are so, oh my God, it's so
What's it look like? Is it like a, show it to me. Because I think my husband, I think that's the one he might smoke. I just can't get with the vape because I can't handle the hard of the part where you take the drag. I like the way that the cigarette butt feels on my lips. I'm sorry, I do. I have texture issues.
Look at my camera.
Yep, that's the one that yep, that's the one he smokes. Yes, and he smells like watermelon all the time.
Ooh, watermelon. This one's cranberry grape. Watermelon sounds good. I can't believe she didn't expect that the jury was disappointed with that answer.
Oh, I would have been pissed if I was a juror. I would have been like, I'm out. I'm not jurying anymore.
Done jurying.
Jurying. I'm done. I quit.
I like how he pointed out that was actually all she said. The one question that she simply answers yes or no to is the one we want her to expand upon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good night, Batty. That is some BS, dude. And yeah, that was actually all she said. Number 5. Earlier, you said people with DID are more susceptible to believe what people say to them. Then why do you openly talk about potential theories and explanations in front of the defendant during the interview? Ooh, a jury member said that. Hold on, let me refresh it because, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Earlier you
dun.
said people with DID are more susceptible to believe what people say to them. So why do you openly talk about theories and explanations in front of them, basically? And answer, another long-winded answer from Lewis, and one I didn't fully understand, that I think can best be described as... Dude, I like this dude. He's funny. It's often good to run theories and questions by defendants to see their responses, even if their answers can't necessarily be trusted, as the response can still inform on sanity.
What? I don't
That
think
makes no
so.
sense.
None. That is the most circular ass logic. And let me
Why
just
does
say
she
this.
do that?
This is probably the most circular ass logic to date that's come out of Dr. Lewis's mouth. And that is saying something, because there was a whole lot of circular logic today and yesterday.
Oh my God. Christine, Allie, did you hear her say Gannon told her just to go and he wouldn't tell Al? Oh my God, no, I could hardly hear most, but she said Al would have been so mad and she would still just, oh my God, that is so freaking sad. And he wouldn't
Right,
tell.
compared to what she actually did. Yeah,
Oh
that would
my-
have been a bad move.
Yeah, exactly. That was the lesser of two evils. Fuck off,
Yeah,
Letecia.
I cannot
And then when
believe
she blamed him for the knife, that also did not sit right well with me, because and I told Jen and Allie both that this bitch's alters even blame Gannon.
Uh-oh. She fell off, but yeah, you're right. It's like blaring in your face how much her
Yes.
disdain for him, because
Yes.
like you said, even her alters, she
And
constantly
that
brings
isn't
it.
something, you guys, that came out this weekend, or not this weekend, that weekend. That is not, that you don't develop that level of disdain for a person, even, overnight. That just does not happen.
No, it doesn't. Okay, here's number 6. If the EEG and MRI weren't provided, how can you issue a final sanity report? Answer, Lewis said that basically she can still conduct the sanity exam with interviews and background research and be confident in her findings, but the EEG and MRI would have just potentially helped prove her findings. Well, I'm curious, would they disprove her findings as well? Is it that?
Yeah.
I don't think so, though, right? The way I understand it, she'd probably explain it away like, well, she wasn't in an episode, you wouldn't be able to see it, or, I don't know. I could just see how she could walk in circles around that as well.
Well, I'm curious as to who she was going to have read the EEG and the MRI.
I don't know. Imagine
She was supposed to bring in a separate neurologist.
That's what I thought, because she's not qualified to read those. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not.
Yeah, I heard that broke my heart, ma'am. You did the worst and murdered him instead of taking him with you. See, I can't wait till it does get cleaned up, because I have a really hard time hearing anything she said. It was like every other word. So I'm trying to, like, in my head, I think I know kind of what she's talking about, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The same as with that Lori Vallow call. We kind of could hear, but after it was cleaned up, it was like, holy cow, like, wow.
Then it was worse.
Right. And
Oh,
it's not like Dr. Lewis doesn't have the ability to, think logically, if only. And I was thinking about this morning over my, I don't know, 3rd cup of coffee. If only Dr. Lewis would have been as skeptical about that diagnosis as she was about Letecia's EDD, about her doctorate in education. I mean, look at how skeptical she was about that.
Yes.
You couldn't have been that skeptical about DID?
She was actually not, she was skeptical in a way that felt like she was insulted that Letecia would dare to even say that she had a doctorate. Like it was insulting to her as a person who had one. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
that interview or a series of interviews should have been equally insulting to Dr. Lewis's work. I
I would have
mean,
thought so.
uh,
Me too.
this was a
After that
circus.
long, yeah, and after that long of creating a name for yourself, look at where she went to school and stuff. She has been like in the most top, in the most prestigious places from the beginning. It's just crazy to basically throw your whole career over this because she looks like a fool. So he says he missed the last juror question. It was around then that I started getting hundreds of Twitter notifications from y'all and got a bit distracted. Hopefully someone else can fill in the blank there. And I believe before the mic was turned back on, Stauch informed the court that she would not be testifying. The defense informed Werner that they would be resting on Friday, and the prosecution informed Werner they would most likely have no rebuttal witnesses. Closings coming Friday.
Does anybody remember the time limitations for the closing arguments?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half each?
Yep. That's what he
Thank
said.
God.
So listen, if it's an hour and a half each, the attorneys are supposed to be there at 8:30 in the morning. 8:30. He was looking right at Will Cook. Did you guys pick up on that?
No.
The judge was like, okay, the attorneys need to be here at 8:30. 8:30. And he's looking right at Will Cook to the
I
point
get it now.
where like Will Cook was like, are you looking right at me, Your Honor? And he's like, yeah, I am. And I was just like, okay. So the attorneys have to be there at 8:30. And I guess they'll get started, right at 9. And if they do, one closing argument and then a break and then the next closing argument, and then they do lunch and deliberation, there's a slight chance we could get a verdict tomorrow. I don't know if you're on the jury. Okay, so we have the interviews, the pieces of clips of interviews that we watched. And if you're on the jury, do you sit down with everybody in that jury room and watch the entire 14 hours, or have you seen enough?
Well, I thought about this too, and I'm so glad that you brought this up, because remember, we had talked about this before they decided to play them. And we said if we were jurors, we would sit there and listen to all 14 hours. But we might be sanity challenged.
Yeah, I think I would answer that question differently today.
Yeah, me too. Now I'm feeling like I fucking seen enough. And if I were the jury, I think they've seen enough too. I think he played the portions that were necessary. And you have to, it begs the question. And this is, I do want to hear from Letecia's attorney so badly. I need to know what the fuck was in their head. Why didn't they play those with their own spin on it?
Oh, I have pages of questions. I really hope it works out.
I think the jury.
I'm going to send all my juju to it working out for you, because I need to hear these answers.
Annie, there is no court tomorrow. You're right.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
I need to hear that. I need to understand why they didn't play any of that audio, why they didn't play any of the clips, why they asked the questions that they asked. Why was the prosecutor
guilty?
I mean, look,
I'm sorry, hold on.
The truth is that you're fine, babe. Dr. Lewis wasn't doing that great. He didn't actually need to do as long of as an intense, in my opinion, cross-examination as he did. He was quite thorough. Okay, but why then didn't the defense think of that? I mean, they saw the direction that the state was going. I just don't understand why they handled the case the way that they did. And they were not ineffective, because they went out and they picked Dorothy Lewis. She didn't seek them out. They sought her out. So there's no, in my opinion, even there's no ineffective assistance of counsel claim at this point, in my opinion. They're hardly ever successful anyway, but this one is really not going to be.
Did I say they have court tomorrow? The people in the chat, they don't have court tomorrow. They have it Friday. And thought that's what I said, but I might have said that wrong. And there was something else I was going to correct from the chat. Damn it. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah, I just don't think that, I think that jury is ready to go back to real life.
Yeah, I think they've been scarred enough. I think they've heard enough. I think because they're not people like us who actually enjoy and are interested in true crime. These are regular people, and they probably would never choose to know this much about the inside of somebody else's home, because this is the worst it gets. You know what I mean? Yeah. These are the worst circumstances.
And they'll probably have nightmares, or who knows, really, after all the things that they saw, even the things that we've seen, and I can't imagine in person, like even you, Jen, you're writing a book on it. I mean, it affects you. I can't imagine how it would affect you in person. This stuff.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I can't.
There are times, in the beginning, I really thought, you know what? I'm a professional. I can handle this. I can be objective in any other matter. Why not this? And I was wrong. And I did okay for a while. And then there were certain, there have been a lot of ups and downs in my personal life over the last, 3+ years. And there were times where, seriously, Gannon would come to me in my dreams. And it certainly affected my relationship with my own sons on a regular basis. And I don't think I was prepared for the darkest of the darkness, and it wasn't always that way. And that's it's a big part of where my sense of humor comes from, is, trudging around in that darkness and then having friends and loved ones pull me back out of the rabbit hole. And my sense of humor just gets a little bit darker each time, but I come out of it, I mean, if I didn't have the support system, oh man.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
Yeah. And what's really helped is since I started putting out content on YouTube and, working toward, building the YouTube channel up, in preparation for the release of the book, right? It's been very therapeutic. Sharing and talking about it, and, whether we're joking about it or crying about it, either way, I'm out of my own head. And, just you guys have helped me a lot. There's so many people who have helped me so much. But it has been really therapeutic.
You've helped me.
Yep. Same here. 100%.
I've had to go back and scratch entire chapters. In fact, I deleted 2 entire chapters in one night because I had just gone too dark. And I was like, I can't do that to the audience. I can still cover those things, but I need to pull that emotion back out of it and start over.
Yeah, we all, I think, I relate to you about the darkness and the one case. I haven't been able to be very objective about this case, but there's only one other case that I started out being very, very objective. And then once I found what I needed to find, then I quit being objective. And I mean, to some extent, I can concede some things, like everybody knows in the chat which case I'm talking about. There is one particular person that is despised by the nons more than anybody else, and that's Damien Eccles. And I'm not a fan of his either. I don't find him to be particularly funny or witty, like a lot of people do, and I just don't. And but I get it. I get that and I'm still convinced that the answer to what happened to those boys that day is in that case file, and that if I just read it one more time, I'll figure it out.
Now that's a haunting.
That's a haunting. What year is it? 2023. I've been looking at that case since 2001, since my youngest daughter was 2. She was 99, 2003. 3. She was 3.
Maybe will. You never know. There's people that look, every time you look at something again, you might see something new. That's why police actually go over stuff over and over, because you do see things you didn't see before, So I don't know.
Right.
I don't
Nothing
think it's in that
frustrates me more
case file.
than so I've got like I've got my really tight circle of people who are supportive of the project and understand if I call at 3:00 in the morning freaking out, or whatever, I mean, they understand that stuff. But then there are other people who are in my life who are like, oh, you need to stop writing this book. You're not acting right. And I'm like, no, it's just, listen, I just got to get through it. It's just part of the creative process. Yeah, I mean, because even though it's nonfiction, it's narrative nonfiction, but it's still creative work, putting it all together and, breaking it down and rebuilding it and just, doing that 11 billion times. And, but it's so frustrating to me, especially, now that I'm more than 3 years in. If I get a little too emotional about something that's happened in court that day or something, there are certain people who will look at me like, this isn't good for you. You need to stop it. Like writing this book is some sort of bad habit.
Well, yeah, it's not like you're trying to quit smoking. I feel like trying to quit smoking would be easier for you.
Right. I'm trying to quit writing the book, when it's done and I publish it. I'm not going to give up just because it's hard.
It's on your heart to do. And I think that I know that the way that you're approaching the book is about the effect, right, on trials of the public opinion.
Right. Yeah. Due process and
due process.
Open source intelligence in the court of public opinion.
But in order to tell that story, you're telling Gannon's story as well.
Right. Which is so much responsibility.
Yeah. It's a heavy burden.
The first time that I spoke to his mother outside of the courtroom that day, and she hugged me, and the first thing that she said to me was, I was walking over, to smoke a cigarette, and she was like, oh, I could have just asked you. And I'm like, oh shit, she knows who I am. And because she was looking for a lighter, she was like, oh, I could have just asked you. And I'm like, hi. And I mean, I didn't know what to do because no matter what, I wanted to be respectful.
Yeah.
The way that people were acting in the court, obviously today and probably yesterday, is embarrassing. Chris Welch told me that he had secondhand embarrassment for her defense attorneys today. And I told him that I had secondhand embarrassment for the members of the public that were in the gallery.
Yeah. I feel like, Jen, and maybe answer this if you can. I feel like the court of public opinion has always been there, but there's a new element now that is
right. It's the open source intelligence.
Yes,
and it's so what we have, and we've always had access to this information.
Yes, but not.
We've
as
always
quickly.
Had open records, right?
But not like this. And we have all the people on social media, and true crime is the quickest growing genre on all of the social media platforms, and that's just the way that it is. People are fascinated. But people need to
understand that's a dangerous thing.
Yes,
it is a dangerous thing to fill your head with these things. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Constitution. I said it 11 billion times. And open records are important. But, we also need to know when to stop. And the idea that the judge had to admonish the people in the gallery because they're acting like fucking paparazzi made me physically sick to my stomach today.
Yes.
He said, didn't he say these are real people?
Yes.
Right.
I wish more people that covered cases thought about that sometimes. And even myself, you got to check yourself, because these are not celebrities. These are not reality TV stars. These are real people. And not only that, they're going through the worst moment of their lives.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about. On that day that I had the first conversation with Landon, no matter what, I didn't want to be that fucking guy. You know what I mean? And then she hugs me. And then, we had a little conversation, and then she's going back into the courtroom, and she turns around to tell me, I love you, by the way. And I'm just, in shock. And I'm like, and I said, I love you. And she walked inside, and then I walked around the corner and bawled my delicate eyes out. I mean, because I have 3 sons, and I do understand the weight and the depth of this project that I've been working on. And it is a huge responsibility. And I get goosebumps when I hear, like, remember when she was on the news and she said, make his story magnificent.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I fucking hear you. And I'm not saying I can do that, but God damn it, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
With
think
all due respect. And that doesn't mean that I'm
Yes.
going to sugarcoat it. That doesn't mean I'm going to
No.
lie about anything. It's going to be very difficult,
You know what?
in the appropriate parts. I'm not going to, it's not fiction. And, I don't know. I think I'm going to not say that. Well, fuck it. I've always had a hard time, like, with the hero thing. No, I'm not saying that Gannon is not a hero. Okay. But I, obviously I'm going to, it's not like I'm going to leave that out. It's just that, the book has to be properly weighted and balanced. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I just, I have a hard time, with the hero thing sometimes because, it's a tragedy. It's a real tragedy. And he didn't win in the end, even if she goes to prison for the rest of her life, there are no fucking winners in this case.
Right.
Nobody won.
And I think that's an important lesson and for people to understand and to take away from this.
Yeah, I bet
that
she is.
Right.
When we cover a case like this, and this is just, and sadly, this is the first in a long line of cases like this. Yes, to have Letecia go to prison for the rest of her natural life would be great, but it does nothing to bring Gannon back. Gannon is gone. He will always be gone. And whatever he was going to bring to the world when he grew up, whatever he was going to add to it, and I have a feeling he probably would have added something wonderful.
Right.
We'll never know because she robbed us of that. And her serving the rest of her life in prison doesn't fix that. It's not going to somehow even the balance.
No.
You guys, if you're just coming in from Melissa's, if y'all didn't see it, there was a guy on Twitter who was in the courtroom who reported all the jury questions and answers, and they were really interesting. So I would rewind just a little bit so you don't miss that because they were pretty interesting.
And I didn't mean to bring the conversation down. It's just
no, you didn't. No. I asked you the question and I wanted to know the answer because I hear in you the same things, not on the same level because I was never, I don't know, bold enough, brave enough to try to write what I felt about the West Memphis 3 story. I've covered it on my YouTube channel, but I have to take breaks from it. I'm not even done really in covering it. There's so much more. But
I guess my only point is, like, it's not going to be sugar-coated. It's not going to be embellished, and it will be hard-hitting, but it will not be exaggerated or sensational in any fucking way because that's the opposite of respect.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're doing that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Because you see so many that do. I get really frustrated with some of the things that you see because, it just, it gets
But listen,
really
Cheryl and Cadel is in one of the Gannon Facebook groups.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I was going to tell you, you should, if next time you like see his mom or whatever, talk to her. Like, well, I don't know. She mentioned before to me that after the trial, she would like to write a book. So,
so I do hope to talk to her after this is over.
Oh wait,
you would like to talk to?
She said, you guys, she told me she was writing a book about Letecia. She was writing Letecia back in the day. Swear to God, promise. I don't know if she ever wrote her back, but she was trying. And told me that she wanted to write her back or write a book about her.
That's curious because
Who, Cheryl and Cadel?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, I remember
a true crime writer.
Yeah.
That's.
Okay,
No,
I'm going to
she-
say one snarky comment and I'm going to leave it at that. If that's the bar, I'm good.
No, yeah, you can say whatever you want. I've made
My
my
nickname
I've
for
made
her
my
is
opinion
Scribble.
very clear about her. So go ahead. I don't care. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't.
mean, well, but I don't want to be unprofessional and talk shit, but I'm just
Right.
saying, if that's the
Right.
bar,
You're okay. You'll be
yeah, I'm
fine.
good.
You're going to be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
The reason, I mean, she wrote a book about a case that was so popular. It doesn't. I mean, yeah, it was just.
Well, you have to tell the story. This is why I like you, Jen, because you're passionate about Gannon's case, about what happened and telling his story, but you're telling it also from a bigger worldview, which
Yeah.
Right.
the court of public opinion is impactful. And I've long wanted to talk about that. There are many, many cases where the
Silly.
media has twisted the official narrative, like
yeah.
the Preppy murder. Okay, Jennifer Levin. So when the case first came out, Jennifer Levin was what she should have been. She was revered as a victim. Okay, a girl. It doesn't matter that she went out drinking that night. It doesn't matter that they were at the bar together. She was a victim, and she was found murdered. Right, but somehow her diary was released, and a girl's diary is a girl's diary, and she wrote everything. She told her diary everything, and when it was leaked, she went from being a victim to somehow, because she was honest in her private thoughts, she became something else, as if she asked for it and led this kid on and whatnot. You know what I mean? And that is that's the power that the media has. And I know that it's ridiculous of me to think of myself as on the same level as like News Nation or Dateline or anything like that. But at any given time, I have Allie, like 60, 80, sometimes 100 people in my chat, sometimes more, but consistently around that, right? That's 60 and those are the people that I can see watching and interacting. That doesn't count the replays. Right. So they're listening and taking in what I am saying. And I think that I have a responsibility to be accurate.
Yes.
Even if it's snarky and it's but funny at the same time. But I have a responsibility to tell the story. And when I covered the West Memphis 3, my goal was to cover what the documentary couldn't cover because they only have so much time. And I told the good, the bad, and the ugly about everybody.
Another thing is, if you mess up, you have to be honest about it and correct yourself. There's a lot of creators who they have egos to where they just will let it slide or won't say anything, but you can't tell details. It's okay if you get like important or any details about a case wrong. That's okay. You're human, but if you don't correct it when you know it's wrong, that's a big problem. That's really a problem. And I've seen that multiple times with huge creators. You guys would be mind blown.
Right. Well, I had a perfect example of that last week. I've been telling people for months that if Letecia Stauch goes to a mental institution, then she's going to have the opportunity to apply for release to the board once a year, every year, until she finally dies. And I found out that I had read the bill wrong, and it doesn't actually apply to her. And so, chances are a little higher that she's going to be in there a lot longer and not be dragging the family back into it once a year. Like, I found out through Chris, who explained the bill to me on a live stream. He explained that while she'll still be able to apply to the board for release, it's not going to be an annual deal because of the seriousness of her crime. And so I was happy to be, told that I was wrong. Not only is that much better news and a much better outlook, I mean, it's still not good enough. If she goes to the mental institution, I might just find a way to join her.
I'll represent you, so then we can make sure that you join her. How about that?
Right. But, so I was wrong, and I was happy to be wrong. But that's the thing. And my immediate response to him telling me that I was wrong was like, see, that's why I talk to an attorney every Thursday. Thank you for telling me I was wrong. And every time that I find out I'm wrong, it's an opportunity to learn something else. Not everybody's going to see it that way. And another thing that I wanted to tell you, Jen, is like, we all have that same responsibility, whether there's 5 people in the chat or 5 million people in the chat, the responsibility is the same. You know what I mean?
Yep, that is true.
I feel like I feel badly about what I said about that. Allie was the voice of reason yesterday. Yes, Allie was the voice. She's like, Jen, but what about this? And I was like, no. If they told me that the court wouldn't pay for it, I would feel duped and I would feel lied to and I would be pissed off. And then come to find out, she's had a whole ass email exchange. I don't appreciate that, Dorothy.
Yeah. But yes, like yesterday, everyone was thinking like the defense lied. They were just being sneaky as hell. And come to find out, it was her being sneaky. Grandma.
Right.
Like
Meemaw duped me. Meemaw was duped by Letecia, and Meemaw duped me.
Oh, right. Someone said the audio on Twitter. Someone said the audio. I don't know if they were joking or what, but it said Meemaw's wheelchair ran over the audio cord.
That could absolutely be what happened. Because I did see the judge look at the screen a couple of times. And I feel like if it was muted on his end, we would have known that. And it wasn't fixed until she was off the stand.
Oh, bless it.
True. That is true. It got fixed like right as soon as she got, like right after she got off.
Yes. Yeah. And I will say this, there were times today when the prosecutor, I never can tell which one is up there. Who was doing the questioning today? Mr. Young?
Dave Young. Yeah.
Dave, okay, Mr. Young. So when he was, there was times when it was contentious, but then there would be moments where he would soften a little bit. And I think that the jury might have had a little bit of a visceral reaction yesterday because it is cross and there hasn't really been contentious cross on the part of because obviously it's all been the state, right? And the defense has not. I mean, there was a little bit of contention with Dr. Moore, but that's really about it. Right. Not like this though, but he would soften. And I think that today, the jury probably got a better sense of why it was the way that it was.
Right. He definitely started out the day softer. But the other thing to think about is that the things that have him and the judge pissed off are, for the most part, things that the jury has not seen.
Yes.
The jury doesn't understand that she was late 4 times. And that she, you know what I mean? Like, and so, day 2, growing into that point in front of the jury might have been a little easier for them to understand, why he was being mean to Meemaw.
Well, he was tired of Meemaw. When he told them stop today, I was like, now you done pissed off the most rational, chill judge out. Look what y'all have done.
That's what I was about to say.
Y'all broke the judge.
The lawyer today, or the prosecutor today, was still. I still thought, to me, Mr. Young or Dave Young. I don't know what the appropriate thing for me to call him. The prosecutor was. He's more emotional. Like, what's the other one's name? My brain's not working right now because
Michael Allen and Angela.
Yes.
Michael Allen, Angelina Gratiano, and Dave Young.
Michael Allen is he's so much more like calm and rational, and I don't know. I see. They kind of balance each other out, though. Really, if you think about it, because of that. But the judge today, he got pissed. Like, he was really, by the end of it, he wasn't having it no more. He's like, answer the question. And then at one point he's like, stop going. Don't answer anymore. Like, Jesus.
Hush.
Right.
I mean,
well,
I thought,
and he shouldn't have had to tell her. He shouldn't have had to tell her that. She has been an expert witness in so many murder trials. And she knows that if there's an objection, you stop talking. And if it's sustained, you don't continue to answer. I mean, she knows what that means. I mean, after that many trials, I
Right.
don't know.
Dr. Torres stopped and she
Right.
would wait.
Let me see. I got a picture of the prosecutors walking in off the, where's it at?
I don't know. I will be glad when we can. I was really hoping with Dr. Lewis that there would be a better insight. She would be better able to explain
Right.
through examples of why she diagnosed or believed that Letecia had dissociative identity disorder. Because at the end of this, an 11-year-old child lost his life. And did it prevent his death? Did I get, in a way, prevent, and maybe this is what Landon means by he's a hero, prevent other children? Because I don't think that Al and Letecia, had this not happened, I don't think they would have stayed married much longer. I think they were going towards divorce, barreling towards divorce. But
These are
Letecia
Letecia's.
likely, would have been with someone else, right? And so maybe Gannon prevented another child. But I would like to know, I don't want to know so much why she did it, because I'll never understand her why. It'll never make sense to me. But what I'd like to know is, are there warning signs that we can learn from this? Because let's be honest, it's very rare that anymore that people stay with the person that they had children with. That's just facts. Blended families are the norm, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, you're bringing essentially what's tantamount to a stranger around your children, the most precious things that you have. And I feel like there has to be something we can learn from this. Something that happened in the early days of their relationship that maybe we can learn so that we can educate people and on what to look for. Do you know what I mean?
I think, that's part of the whole, absolutely. That's the whole reason I think true crime is a good thing, because it helps even with domestic violence, different things like that. It can somewhat be preventative. And also,
listen, I have a very good friend in Virginia who flat out confessed to me that the Chris Watts case made her stop being such a bitch to her husband. I know that's screwed up to say, but she means it. She's like, the Chris Watts case changed me because I suddenly realized that if I continue to push him, I don't really know what's possible. That's nothing about the victims in this case. This is more about my friend's marriage and her confession to me. You know, I'm not like bashing the victim and saying she was a bitch. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that my friend was like, my God, you can push somebody to a point that they snap, and I don't want to do that. And I need to be nicer, and I need to appreciate him more. Again, not victim bashing and not lifting Chris Watts up, but it was just this major revelation that she had, that she was, really being a bitch to her partner, and they were going to get a divorce or something worse or, whatever. And it made her look at her own marriage. And in that way, it benefited her.
Right.
Regardless of how she feels about the case and the details, it benefited her to watch those documentaries and go, oh, I need to check myself because, I need to change some things.
Right.
That's crazy.
And I'm curious if...
I admire that she said, Angela said, sorry, Jen, go ahead.
No, babe, it's your show, honey, and you hardly ever talk, and I'm always talking. I feel like
I do talk, but I don't want to interrupt
today.
you guys. I don't want to interrupt you guys. I also like to answer the chat. I mean, I do a lot of shit by myself too, so I don't mind. And let you hear from you guys. So yeah, I was just reading comments. Go ahead. I don't even.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Reading.
I don't even remember what I was curious about. Oh, I do know. I'm curious.
No, I'm curious.
Yes,
You're crime curious. I'm curious about this. Is what I'm curious about. If the situation were reversed, if it had been Al and that defendant's chair accused of unaliving Landon, would we
You mean
even be
Harley?
going Harley? That's what I meant, Harley. Would we even be going through a
that's a
not
good
guilty
question.
by reason of insanity? Would there be anybody trying to look at it and at all from Al's point of view? If it were
No.
Al on those recordings saying the
I
same,
love-
change
I love
nothing,
looking at it
none
that
of the
way.
words. Yes.
But I don't, with all the way through this, that we've talked about that like once before, like one part of this, like imagine if that was Al. But you know what? I don't know. I don't think anybody's buying it with Letecia either. So I can't see anybody buying this whole act from anybody. But I do think that you have a point there, because men are definitely looked at differently than women, especially like with mental health and the not guilty by reason of insanity, I feel like, in my opinion.
Do you think that I'm also curious about the police, because now if you hear from Letecia, she was targeted, she was harassed, they were terrible to her, right? Obviously that's not the truth, but they were above and beyond, in my opinion, patient. And more than that, they crossed every I and they dotted every T. The fact of the matter is that had they not looked into the leads that Letecia was giving them, no matter how far-fetched they sound, crazy things do happen, and that's just the truth. Okay. And they had to look into it. If they hadn't have looked into it, because I've heard people be critical of them and say, well, you know, she just had them she was just leading them around by their noses. You know, these were like the Mayberry cops. No, they weren't. They were doing their job.
She was switching cars like she was in Goodfellas.
Correct. Casino.
Dan, I think they did a good
Oh,
job.
yeah, it was Casino.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
These
Going under the
police were a lot
bridge.
more detailed. These police were a lot more detailed, and than I've seen in other cases, and a lot more
But
careful.
if they
I think
hadn't
they've done a hell of a job.
Me too. But if they hadn't, right? If they had left all of these Eduardos, Edgars, Quincy Jones, you know, all the things, if they had left those stones unturned, they would have been equally criticized. But I am curious at how much patience they would have shown if the shoe were on the other foot, and if it had been Al. If there would have been these not precept, what are those? What am I trying to say? The recorded phone calls between wiretaps. I'm curious because I mean, they would have still investigated the leads, but I think that even though hardly anybody believed Letecia from the jump, especially the court of public opinion, and they were hard on her, I can assure you that had it been Al in that defense chair, they would have been 11 billion times harder. The comments would have been far more vile. And they would have been calling for horrific things to happen to him in jail and in prison. Because I've seen it.
Don't you think Letecia has almost taken over that, like, most hated woman, that Casey Anthony, almost Nicole Kessinger almost had that? I think
that she's running neck and neck with Lori Vallow right now.
Yeah,
she
but
really
you gotta
is.
watch it, because both of them are going to try and wear it as a damn crown.
They will. They're martyred. Yep. Letecia is martyred, God. And so is Lori in their minds. That's why I say their psychopathy, in my opinion, which I'm not qualified to diagnose, but you guys are all in here listening, so I might as well say it. In my opinion, they're very similar. Their approach is different.
Yeah.
Right.
They have some similarities for sure. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna end this because I still haven't found my cigarettes. I really want a cigarette.
Oh my God! I'm very concerned about these cigarettes.
Yeah, I gotta work on that audio too.
Yeah, I gotta get. I need to get to
bed tonight,
and I need to catch up on Vallow for tomorrow. Oh, I can't wait for your video to come out tonight.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the audio gets cleaned up a lot.
You guys, though, whoa. wait a minute. Don't
Whoa,
you
whoa,
think
whoa.
I got a question? Whoa, this is so
Whoa,
important.
whoa, whoa.
Very important. Oh, by the way, you guys, if asking what happened at the end, they did some jury questions, which we read through those from Twitter, and Letecia is not going to testify. They're going to end on Friday. But the important thing is, doesn't this guy, Dave Young, Mr. Dave Young, sir, doesn't he look like way different than you expect from that crappy video in this? Like, well, you've seen him in person, but he looks so different to me there than I expected. I don't know why.
I don't know what video you're talking about.
Like the regular feed that we get to see, that you guys like.
Oh, yeah, he does look a lot different. Yeah.
He looks way different than I expected him to. I don't know why, but it's just that video quality. I wish that we could. There is something to be said by being able to see their facial expressions. I don't know. I want to be able to see all of that. So it's too bad. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it's definitely entirely different in the courtroom. When you were calling us back in saying, wait, I was just waiting for you to go, don't go. Or what did he say? What did Billy say? Come back. What was it?
Hold on, I'm thinking. Hold on.
I love this scene.
I
I
think
think it was
was
Don't Go. Right?
I
don't know.
It was. No, she had it right the first time. Come back.
That's what she said the first time. The first time she said Don't Go.
Oh, thank you so much for the therapy session. Everyone listening, everyone
Violet,
talking.
Sorry, I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. And thank you so much. And Violet was wanting your link, and I'm dropping her Crime Curious. She said, Jen, the author's link, please. It's good. The Nightbot's about to drop it.
The Nightbot link goes to the last video that you and I did right before trial started. It doesn't go to the channel, it goes to that video.
Okay, well, I'll change it. I just grabbed I remember when I
But
did
it's
it.
still
I
on
was
my
live.
channel. Yeah,
I was live, and I just grabbed the first one that, like, at that moment, I guess we had just done it, the first one that came up. So I'll redirect it to the channel. But if you go to that, click the channel, and then watch all the videos, because the ones with they're actually all really good. So yeah,
the only reason I said that is because if it's not a video, then it won't pull people out of your chat when you drop the link. You know what I mean? Like if it just goes to the channel, then they're still going to stay in the chat and on the video where you drop it.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at me giving you YouTube advice. What the hell?
I know. Look at Jen. She's like a pro now.
Oh my God.
Oh,
no,
you're
like
awesome,
Letecia, I know just enough to get myself in trouble.
No, but that's a handy dandy trick. I like that.
Thank you guys for being here, and thank you, chat. And yeah, there was like a lot. Honestly, I wrote down like all kinds of different parts of their testimony today, the back and forth. But I thought that the way that we just discussed it as it went and watched the videos kind of worked better, and it was easier to just have an open conversation. I don't know. It's been a super stressful but interesting, bit of time. So it's a little bit easier to just kick back and relax and talk about it all in a more laid back way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
How do you say goodbye in Russian?
Now I'm rambling.
How do you say it? So one of us needs to know how to say it in Russian, and one of us needs to know how to say it in Spanish, and the other one needs to know how to say it in Latin.
I can say it in Spanish.
Thank you.
Adios.
Okay, well, we'll do that tonight, but by tomorrow night, we need all three languages.
Well, okay, I'll be in charge of Spanish. I feel like Allie should.
Latin.
Okay, you be Latin, Jen, and no, well, that's French, or a was French, yes.
Okay.
But we need you to learn Russian. I'll ask Dr. B. Dr. B will know how to say it. I know she's Bosnian, but she does know some Russian language, some words in Russian. So I'll ask Dr. B.
Okay, we all have homework.
We have homework.
All right, you guys. Thank you all for being here, chat and panel. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And it's not going to be a Letecia day. So
no, it's not. We're all Valo.
Yeah. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.